Hey guys, Peyton Snakeback here again for another DVD and Blu-ray update for you guys today. I know it's been like months. I know I'm just been so behind on movies and stuff because I got some stuff going on. You know, I got a convention that's happening on Saturday. We got quite a bit of titles here to talk about that I've watched. But I got 11 things. I got 8 Blu-rays and 3 DVDs. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So the first one I got here, this is actually the 4K I bought. But it was a Smile 2 here on 4K, but I mainly got it for the Blu-ray, because the weird thing is, when it comes to this release, there is no Blu-ray release of this, and the only way to get it on Blu-ray is if you buy the 4K, which I had to, unfortunately, and which that's kind of like making me concerned when it comes to like physical media in the future. I kind of hope that they don't kill the Blu-rays like that, because I kind of like I want Blu-rays to still kind of like, you know, exist. But if that's the way that's gonna have to be for like future like things, for like future like releases, I mean, but eventually maybe I will upgrade the 4K, but I just don't see the point in rushing in to do it right now. You know what I mean? But this is a Smile 2 on 4K, and of course the Blu-ray and digital code, of course. And this one was mainly, you know, I think I like this one a little bit better than the first one. I love the first one. The first one's great, but I think this one was a little bit creepier and more like suspenseful. But this, if you guys don't know what the Smile movies are, it was mainly like the first one was mainly is Sosie Bacon, who was actually Kevin Bacon's real daughter in real life, knows her as a nurse or like a psychiatrist, and someone ends up committing suicide in front of her, and because of that, she ends up getting the Smile curse, I think. And basically, this movie right here is basically set 6 days after the events of the first movie. And it's mainly has to do with this kind of like this singer, or this like pop sensation named Sky Riley, played by Naomi Scott. It's basically the same thing as the first movie. It's kind of like her having the Smile, you know, curse, and trying to figure out what to do to pass it on to someone else or to get rid of it. That's mainly what it was. But I have to say, though, the way this movie ended, there's definitely going to be a part 3. I know there is, because I could definitely tell that the way this movie ended, it's going to get even crazier. I mean, if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I absolutely, I liked both of these movies, but I thought this one was a little bit better. For feature-wise, you get some deleted and extended scenes and some featurettes and a commentary. But yeah, definitely check out the Smile movies if you want to watch something very creepy. The next one here, this one's actually an upgrade. I don't really know what the plot is, but I like it. I don't know the plot, but I like it. But it's of course, you know, the Dark Crystal here on Blu-ray. It's a hard to explain kind of like movie. It mainly has to do with like this crystal that they're trying to find. These creatures are trying to find, basically. The thing I like about this movie, I like the puppeteers. I like the puppetry, because it was a Jim Henson movie. I have another Jim Henson movie I'm going to talk about in just a sec. You know, there's just something very cool about Jim Henson. Like, Jim Henson was, like, a whole different level of his puppetry. I know with Gremlins, I know they did puppetry for those, too. Which I'm hearing when it comes to the part 3 they're going to do. I hear they're not going to do the puppetry. I hear it's going to be a bunch of CGI, which that kind of made me go, is that going to really work? But we'll see, though, whenever that comes out. But, yeah, we got the Dark Crystal here on Blu-ray. The other movie I got, the other Jim Henson movie, is actually the Labyrinth here on Blu-ray. I'm not going to lie. I think everyone can agree the Labyrinth was a little bit better than the Dark Crystal. Also from Jim Henson. It stars Jennifer Connelly, I think that's her name, and of course David Bowie. It's mainly her. She's obsessed with fairy tale stories, and I think she has to take care of her or babysit her baby brother, and she does not like this brother, and basically this baby brother like gets on her nerves, and she basically says that she wished that the goblins could take her, and of course it ends up coming true, and David Bowie's like he's like the king, or like the leader of these the goblins. And of course, you know, that when that comes true, she regrets about saying it now, and it's basically her on a quest to find her baby brother, and she's got like a certain amount of hours to do so, or you know, she can never have him back. But this is like a great movie. If you guys have not seen this movie, you've got to check it out. And of course, I've heard a lot of rumors it's being remade. No comment on that. So that is The Labyrinth here on Blu-ray. Next one here we got is Dead Time Stories here on Blu-ray from Scream Factory. This was an anthology movie, that I am surprised I have never heard of. Well, I think I've heard of it, but I've never actually watched it. But this was probably a very cool, interesting anthology horror movie. It's mainly about I think it's his uncle. I think it's his uncle, like telling his nephew these 3 bedtime stories, and of course the stories that he's telling is the anthology stories. But it's basically in a way kind of like spoofing like fairy tale stories. Like the first story, which I couldn't figure out what the story was, or they were trying to like make fun of or spoof. But it was mainly about like these witches, and the guy was kind of like the slave. The second one was mainly like a spoof to Little Red Riding Hood. The third story, which was my favorite one in this, out of all the 3, was basically spoofing Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. That one was mainly it was these nutcases that are nicknamed Papa Bear, Baby Bear. It's them and Mama Bear. They end up escaping from the mental institution and go to the house go back to their house, and of course Goldilocks, you know, is of course there, and she's like the nutcase as well, but she could do like telekinesis. I think that's how you say it. But I enjoyed this one. I thought it was absolutely just amazing. Definitely looked great on Blu-ray, even though I never watched it on DVD. It was actually my very first time watching it, but the transfer looked amazing. But definitely check this one out if you guys have not seen it. That is Dead Time Stories on Blu-ray. The next one here we got is the Wolfman, the 2010 movie. I actually found this one at Goodwill, I think months before the brand new movie came out, that like when I was directed. And this was kind of like, this took place like around the 1800s. And basically, if you don't know the story of the Wolfman, it's mainly like, you know, someone turns into a werewolf at night. And that's basically what it is. Like, they're trying to find like who the werewolf is. I actually like this. I thought this version, to be honest, this version was a little bit better than the new one, like the Blumhouse did. Honestly, when it comes to the new remake, it was all right. When it came to that movie, it was mainly more of like, it kind of like felt like the Fly. It was that the David Cronenberg movie, Fly. It was mainly more of that, but it wasn't a terrible movie. It just definitely wasn't the kind of werewolf movie that you would expect. However, I still will get it on Blu-ray whenever it comes out. But I thought this one was a little bit better though. This was the one that had Anthony Hopkins in it. Definitely a great one right here. The next ones here I got. These ones, I got these ones. I had them on Blu-ray for a very long time, but I mainly wanted to get them in standalone versions because I had like a triple pack of Goonies, and then both of these movies here. I got both of the Gremlins movies here on Blu-ray. Of course, you know, like I said before, Gremlins 3 is supposed to be happening, along with the Goonies 2, which was announced a couple months ago. Of course, if you have not seen, you know, Gremlins, of course, you know, these are just, like, absolutely amazing movies. I actually like the second Gremlins a little bit better. But, you know, the first one here was mainly, stars Zach Galligan, Phoebe Cates. It was mainly, his father, or, the main character, or Zach Galligan's character's father. He's, like, an inventionist, who, likes to invent, like, a lot of crazy stuff. And he comes home, and for Christmas he ends up giving his son this Mogwai, and there's like these rules that you have to follow, like you can't get it wet, can't put it near sunlight, and of course, and never feed him after midnight. And of course, he ends up getting the Mogwai wet, and doesn't. Of course, he doesn't listen, and of course, that messes everything up. And they turn into the Gremlins. It's him and Phoebe Cates trying to figure out how to stop these Gremlins. And the second one was mainly it took place kind of like this weird skyscraper, but it was an interesting kind of like skyscraper that this thing took place. It's mainly like it was mainly Gizmo and the main character, Zach Galligan's character, is mainly them reuniting, and you know, and of course the Mogwai ends up getting wet, and of course Havoc breaks loose. I don't know. This one was always pretty interesting to me. I've always liked it a little bit better than the first movie. Plus, I've always have been a big fan of this cover right here. Yep. So we got both of the Gremlins movies here on Blu-ray. The last one on Blu-ray I got was A Christmas Story Live, which honestly, when it comes to these movies that turned into like musicals, like of course, you know, this was technically a remake to the original Christmas Story. I don't know. Sometimes these musicals are not. They don't really work. Like the Matilda musical that they did like a couple years ago. I got so bored with that one. But the Mean Girls one they did last year actually was not that bad. It wasn't perfect though. Of course, the Lindsay Lohan one was way better than the musical, but I still liked it for what it was. But that's mainly what this was. I think it was a TV movie. I think it aired on TBS, or I don't know when this aired, but I know it was definitely a TV movie. But it's mainly like it's basically the same story, but it's, you know, done in a musical. This was from the Warner Archive, by the way. Now on to the DVDs. I got these two right here. I think I got them at a Dollar General last year, and they were okay movies. Or okay sequels, meaning. I like the first one a little bit better, but we got Evil Bong 2, King Bong, and Evil Bong 3, The Wrath of Bong, both here on DVD from Full Moon Entertainment, or Full Moon Features. Of course, it's about this, you know, this killer Bong. They're just weird, bizarre, low-budget movies. It's supposed to be directed by Charles Band, but, very strange. And the last one I had, which I might sell this one as well, was the New Adventures of Pippi Longstockings on DVD, which I think it was based off an old TV show from back in the day. This was, of course, you know, the feature-length movie that came out, I think back, when did this movie come? 1988 is when this movie came out. But yeah, we got Pippi Longstockings, or The Adventures of Pippi Longstockings here on DVD. I don't know if this one's on Blu-ray or what, to be quite honest, but yeah. But that is it for this DVD and Blu-ray update. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you guys, that would be my cat, by the way, if you saw the tail just now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you guys like the video for Saturday. See you guys later.